back to Culinary Alchemy. The holidays are over, and I hope you all had a happy new year. Some things might change this year, but one thing we all know is that cupcakes still rule. So to continue on with the cupcake craze, I'm going to be demoing a series of what I like to call cocktail cupcakes. First up, Piña Colada, rum pineapple cupcakes with creamy coconut frosting. To start with, you're going to need to soak some chopped pineapple, dried pineapple, in some dark rum. My husband and my favorite rum is Gosling's Black Seal. We think it's the best, but whichever one you choose will work just fine. So here I've taken 1/4 cup of the dark rum and heated it to just below the boiling point. And I've got 1 cup of chopped dried pineapple, and I'm going to place that right in the pot with the rum, give it a nice shake, and let it soak for about 20 minutes or so until the pineapple starts to absorb some of the rum and takes on that rum flavor. It'll also plump it up a little bit. And that's what's known as macerating fruit. And while that's soaking, set that aside, and then you can preheat your oven to 375 degrees. Make sure to position your oven rack in the center of your oven and assemble your other equipment and ingredients. While the pineapple is soaking and the oven's preheating, line a 12-cup muffin tin with cupcake liners and set it aside. Then, using an electric mixer, I'm using a freestanding mixer fitted with a paddle attachment, take 1½ sticks, which is 12 tablespoons worth of softened unsalted butter, place it right into your mixer, and beat it on medium speed for about 3 minutes until it's really smooth. Now it's time to add some sugar to the butter in the bowl. Here I have 1½ cups of superfine sugar. I'm going to start by adding 1/2 of the amount of sugar to the bowl and mixing it at medium speed for 1 minute, and then adding the remaining sugar and continuing to mix for another 2 minutes till it's super light and fluffy. So our butter and sugar's mixed for a total of 3 minutes, and as you can see, it's really nice and light and fluffy. Now it's time to add some eggs. Here I have 3 eggs, and I'm going to add them to the bowl one at a time and mix them for about a minute after each addition, and also scrape the sides of the bowl after each addition too. By doing this, this is what helps to create the proper texture for the perfect cupcake. And we're going to continue to beat them on medium speed. And now it's time to add some vanilla extract to the batter. Here I have 2½ teaspoons of vanilla extract, and I'm going to add that to the bowl and turn it back on medium speed and blend it just until it's thoroughly mixed for about another minute, and then give the bowl one last good scrape. Now I'm going to sift the dry ingredients. In this bowl I have 2½ cups plus 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. And I'm going to add that right into the sifter. Along with 3/4 teaspoons salt, 3/4 teaspoons fresh nutmeg, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. To grate the nutmeg, I like to use a microplane. I'm going to sift the ingredients right onto this piece of wax paper. I also need 3/4 cup of sour cream, and I'm going to add that to the mixture, alternating dry ingredients with wet ingredients, beginning with the dry ingredients and ending with the dry ingredients. So think of 1/3 for the flour mixture and 1/2 for the sour cream. And when you mix it, you want to mix it on low speed. So that's about 1/3 right there. And I'm going to mix it just until the dry ingredients are incorporated. Now I'm going to put in 1/2 of the sour cream and continue to mix it on low speed, alternating still with the remainder of the flour and sour cream, making sure that I end with dry. When the last addition is just incorporated, I'm going to give the bowl one last scrape and then continue to mix for another 5 seconds or so, just to get the last particles of flour incorporated into the batter. When you're beating the eggs and butter and sugar, you're beating them one at a time, but you're beating them a lot and at pretty high speed. But once you add your flour into the mixture, you want to beat it on low speed just until the ingredients are incorporated. And that's pretty important because otherwise you'll have a pretty tough cupcake. Now for the last step is to add our nice rum-soaked pineapple into our batter. So I'm going to just dump that right there in on top of the batter. And then on low speed, I'm also going to just mix this until it's just incorporated. Then with the spatula, I'm going to give it one last stir to make sure that all of the pieces got in there as evenly as possible, so we don't have clumps of pineapple in some cupcakes and none in the other. Look at that silky, creamy batter we've got there. And now it's time to put the batter into our muffin cups. So you want to divide the batter evenly among the cups and then mound it slightly in the center. And I'm going to start by using an ice cream scoop because this gives me a pretty even measure, but you can use a spoon or spatula or whatever works for you. I have some extra batter left, so I'm going to put these in the oven, once again at 375 degrees, and bake them for about 20 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. And then I'm going to bake off the rest once those come out and cool slightly. It'll probably be another 6, so a total of 18 cupcakes. 20 minutes are up, and it's now time to check our cupcakes. See how they're doing. I'm going to take my pick and just poke it right in the center, and yep, it comes out clean. So set them aside to cool for just a short while. We don't want to cool them completely yet. And now it's time to go back to your liquor cabinet and get out that dark rum again, because we're going to make a rum soaking syrup to brush on top of the cupcakes. So here I have 1/4 cup of dark rum, and I'm just going to place it in this small bowl, along with a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. We don't need to cook this mixture. I'm just going to give it a stir to mix up the sugar. The sugar doesn't even need to dissolve, and I'm going to give it a stir with a pastry brush because that's what I'm going to brush it on the cupcakes with. And then I'm going to get out a sheet tray here. Actually going to put the cooling rack right on the sheet tray to catch any of the drips of glaze that might fall when we glaze the cupcakes. And once they're just cool enough to handle, you can pop them out of the tin, set them right on the cooling rack. Just brush the tops of the cupcakes until they're really nice and well saturated. Don't waste any of the delicious rum soaking syrup. Be sure to put it on all the cupcakes because they will continue to absorb it. Now set them aside to cool, and while they're cooling, it's time to prepare the creamy coconut frosting. And now for the coconut part of the Piña Colada, the cream cheese coconut frosting. For this, you need 8 ounces of softened cream cheese, which I have here in this bowl, along with 3 tablespoons of softened unsalted butter. You're also going to need 1.5 tablespoons of cream of coconut, such as Coco Lopez. And here I have it combined with 1¼ teaspoons of vanilla extract. We also need 2 cups of confectioner's sugar and 3/4 cup of sweetened flaked coconut. So I'm going to start by beating the cream cheese and butter together on medium speed until it's really smooth and creamy for about 2 or 3 minutes. The mixture has been beaten for 2 minutes and it looks really creamy and well combined. So now I'm ready to add the Coco Lopez vanilla extract mixture to the cream cheese. And once it's in, I'm just going to blend it for another few seconds until it too is combined. Before I add the sugar, I'm just going to give the bowl a nice scrape. Next step is to add the confectioner's sugar in 3 additions, beating really well after each addition. Make sure you beat it well before you add the next batch. And you want to beat this on low speed. The 3rd addition of sugar is in, and now I'm going to give the bowl one more scrape before I add the coconut. I'm going to just dump all the coconut right in on top of the frosting, and still using the blender on low, I'm going to mix in the coconut. It does seem a little bit thick, but this is to get a first start of blending, then we'll finish it up with a rubber spatula. That looks pretty good. So now we're ready to top the cupcakes. Put a heaping tablespoon of frosting on the top of each cupcake. And then using an offset spatula or a knife, spread it around evenly over the top. Continue to do this till you have all of your cupcakes frosted. Voila! The Piña Colada cupcakes are finished. If you're not going to be consuming them on the day that they're baked, they're best kept in the refrigerator. Lately, there have been some requests for an ingredient list, so you'll find one in the description below. And by the way, you might want to test these behind closed doors before you serve them up to any kids if there are some in your household.